Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's first formation. Come on and fall in. It's me, your boy Trey, my man Bishop. Bishop, what's good with you this morning, brother?
WGO. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing on this 22nd day of March here in 2022? How's everybody doing on this Tuesday? One day away from hump day. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Still watching this March Madness of women's and men's basketball. We got some great games still going on. About to head into the Final Four here soon. I believe the women are already in their Final Four, if I'm not mistaken. So we
No,
just
not
got
yet.
some things. Huh?
They Sweet Six. They hit the Sweet 16
Sweet
too.
16. That's right.
Yeah,
Sweet 16. Right. That's why I forgot. I skipped all over the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and all of that. I forgot
I,
all
I
about
know you would try. I figured you would try something like that, especially since Oklahoma University's women was blown out by 44 points by a lesser seed in Notre Dame. I would try to skip.
you
I
see
would
how
try to skip. I would try to jump over it too.
you see how he do, y'all. This is what I be talking about. See, this the nonsense in which he be doing. This is what I be talking about. He love to bring up the Sooners, or love to bring up my Nets, or love to bring up my Eagles when we down in the dumps and stuff like that. Oh, but no. When of course you know what's coming next, right? Y'all know what's coming next. Y'all
No,
know
I ain't
what's
gonna say
coming
nothing
next.
about it. I will let it marinate for a second before I say anything
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Marinate for a second, my tail. Man, look at him, man. I'm already mad with other things. But hey, I can't be too upset. Yesterday, like I said, was my birthday, so I'm happy. I can't be mad too, man. So
Blessed
I'm
day,
straight.
blessed day, blessed day. Of course. So, what did you do to celebrate? Turned up. What was your turn up?
The turn up was, man. So after I got off the show,
Mm-hmm.
we pretty much, like I said, I was telling Trey right before we got on the air that my daughter's school had let them out early. She had been in school for maybe an hour, and they had let them out early because the power had went out. They had a power outage, so so we had to go pick her up, bring her home. So she only had not even a half a day of school, an hour of school yesterday. So my wife had already had plans for us to go to a Brazilian steakhouse. Forget the name of it right now. I'll come back with it here in a minute. But went to a Brazilian steakhouse. It's a new Brazilian steakhouse, not Chamagachas, which some of y'all may know about, but it wasn't Chamagachas. But another one, a new one. It was given 4.9 stars in ratings. Very nice establishment. Food was excellent. They did very good service. Has an amazing key lime pie, man. That key lime pie went hard. I'm not gonna front. Then after that, we left there and went to BB's, which is more of a southern type of Louisiana restaurant. We went there
Mm-hmm.
only to have drinks. Had a drink there at the spot we was at first too, but also went to BB's just to have a drink because they had what was it, a happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
Went there, had a drink, left there and came on back home, and pretty much that was pretty much the size of it. Trey, someone came over, a friend, a sister of mine came over. She cooked dinner for us, had dinner, and we sat around. Man, next thing I know, I'm falling asleep. That's how my birthday was, bro.
all within the day. See, you can have fun during the day.
Hmm. Yeah, we was in the house by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I want to say.
Mm-hmm. That's and see, that's how you do it. The day parties are the
Right, they
people.
don't know about them day parties. That's what I've been trying to get y'all to get us to do, man.
I'm very sure it's coming soon. Everything is evolutionally coming along. Of course, of course, of course. So, a couple of things in which I seen yesterday. Did you catch some of the before you fell asleep? Were you able to catch and see some of the women's madness yesterday?
No, I didn't. I missed it. No, I did not.
I was checking out the women's UConn versus was it Purdue? That was the number 7. You know them UConn's the number 2 seed. I thought they was in trouble for a second. I
Mm,
thought it was over. I thought they was about to go home, but they did find a way to persevere and end up getting a W. It was actually a good game.
mm.
Took a look at some of the games. Of course, like I said, you had the OU debacle last night. There was who else played last night? I started to take a look at the NIT, but by the time I got home, it was a little late. We dealing with everyone is closing up shop and stuff around here due to the pending storm that's coming. What's good? What's good morning, Freddie? Good morning, Freddie. How you doing, sir? Appreciate you coming out and checking us.
What up,
So
Freddie?
everyone,
Good morning.
we got that storm coming. So if I happen to go off the air, that's because we probably got a power outage. But it's been an interesting thing. Like March Madness, there's nothing like it.
Yeah,
When you get these
there
schools
is.
together and you have all these different teams and stuff like that that's playing, that's from these different divisions. We're not just seeing the majors. You got the mid majors, you got the leaguer teams, and they show up and show like, hey, we deserve to be talked about too. And it's their one chance. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. The opportunity only comes in the law once in a lifetime. You better
Right.
lose it. And they going in. Hence, the bishops choosing of the of St. Peter's. Uh, we'll see. We'll see how they do. Of course, matter of fact, we ain't talk about it yesterday as we look forward to the Sweet 16 in the men's. And I get the women's later. Of course, this includes bishops, St. Peter's. You have St. Peter. Matter of fact, first off, number 15 St. Peter's will face off on Friday versus number 3 Purdue. Number 4 Providence will take on number 1 Kansas. Number 8 North Carolina will face off against number 4 UCLA. Number 11 Iowa State will take on number 10 Miami, which that was not expected, I'm sure. Um,
Right.
Number 4 Arkansas will face off against number 1 Gonzaga. Uh, Number 11 Michigan will take on number 2 Villanova. Number 3 Texas Tech will face off against number 2 Duke. And last, number 5 Houston will do battle with number 1 Arizona. The later of the four are in San Antonio. I forgot where that one's playing. Bishop, do you see any or think there's any upsets going on in this tournament of 16?
Man, you know what? I'm not even gonna say whether it is or not, because like you just stated a minute ago, when it comes to March, we still in March. Ain't no telling, bro. Like you said, my beloved Sooners went down to a lower seat, lost to a lower seat by 40 in Notre Dame. And I didn't see that coming, and I didn't see that coming. So,
Mm.
like he said, Trey said it best. When it comes to this March Madness, man, it's good morning, Key.
What's
It's
good,
crazy,
Key? Good
man.
morning.
Yeah, it's crazy that you just can't pick, man. You just can't pick on who's gonna do what, because any day of the week, it ain't just Sunday, any given Sunday,
Any
any
day
day
to
of the week,
pick.
these girls and these boys, man, these young women, these young men come out and they play their heart out, and they leave it all on the floor, man. And we all know, you never know when you get another opportunity to grace that floor. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For the big dance, the big game, the March Madness. It is they call it March Madness for a reason. So Trey, yeah, upsets.
You know,
It's far in
I would
between.
think. I really think. I don't know why. I actually think Arkansas might end up upsetting Gonzaga.
Oh, really?
I don't know what
It
gives
could
me that
possible.
feeling.
It could
Yeah,
be
I mean,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they out Washington might end up getting Gonzaga at the end of the day. But that's at this point that's the only one in which I feel is going to
Hmm.
go down.
Hmm.
Uh, But yeah, of course, in the women's bracket, we have number 1 North Carolina State faces off against Notre Dame. Number 2 Indiana, correction, number 2 Connect UConn takes on number 3 Indiana. Number 4 Tennessee will play against number 1 Louisville. Number 10 South Dakota. You know they knocked off Baylor. Will
Hmm.
play against number 3 Michigan in Bridgeport, and then the other half of their bracket will be, hold up.
The other half
That
of
was
their bracket be
unexpected.
what?
Like we just talking about, it happens. That's just,
It
I'm looking for
does.
it. I've got to find
It's
it.
in
But
the
I was just
game,
saying
bro.
that was unexpected with the that type of stuff and stuff, and you be thinking one thing and then mess around and be like, oh goodness gracious, because that was when I seen that score
Yeah,
last night from OU and Notre Dame. I was like, wait, what
I
just
was
happened?
sick. I was sick, bro. That's probably what made me fall asleep. I'm gonna be honest with you.
The other half of their bracket, which is going to be played between Spokane and Greensboro, will be number 6 Ohio State will battle with Texas. Number 2 Texas. Number 5 North Carolina will take on number 1 South Carolina. Battle of the Carolinas. You know South Carolina is overall number 1 seed. Number 10 Crichton will take on number 3 Iowa State, and number 4 Maryland will play against number 1 in Stanford.
Mhm,
So both Iowa's teams are still in. Both North Carolina's teams are still in.
mhm.
Who else was that? Indiana, no. UConn, no. Tennessee is gone, I think. South Dakota's gone. Both Michigan teams are still in. Oh, okay. So 3 teams still have two each of their teams. Let's see what happens. Yes, Anthony, you're right. March Madness is pure madness. Even
Here.
in the in NBA, of course, when you look at it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why they don't call March Madness or call it something in the NBA during March because it gets crazy in
Mhm.
March for NBA too, bro. To be honest.
So a couple of things in which I found out, it's a possibility of Paul George now doing light workouts. So he might be doing some work to come back, get back in the game for the Los Angeles Clippers. As we all know, he had an injury. Um, him and Kawhi Leonard have been out. Kawhi's been out the whole season almost. Paul George's been out the majority of the over half the season, but they look at potentially getting Paul George back, in which he could continue to give probably a little oomph to the Clippers as they try to make the push for the playoffs. I mean, push to get out the play in or to win their play in tournament. Of course, Dame Lillard it has been said that he will not play the rest of the season. So he's out with his
Yeah, I saw that.
sights set on coming back next season, probably better than ever. I would like him to come back next season in a different uniform. That's purple.
Ooh. I mean, you can't be mad at him. You kind of like like CJ gone, so it's like, bruh, what are
But
you
so
sticking
now
around for?
what you sticking around for? Like, yeah,
Yeah, like
I'm gonna go ahead
CJ
and head
gone.
out.
What are you sticking around for?
But they might be able to wheel and deal during the offseason, probably bring in some a couple of draft picks. Because at this point they're tanked, so
Right.
they're going to be with a good chance in the lottery picks. So, but I'm very sure he's at this point he's their franchise player, so
Right.
he's not going
They're gonna
anywhere.
you feel like they're gonna build around it. But how long
Yeah,
has Dame been in Portland now?
I think over 10 years.
Yeah. So like it's a little late to be trying to build around Dame now. Like that's something you should have been done
So
3-4 years ago.
I think they're going to try to do like I think everyone tries to try to recreate the Lakers formula where you bring in top players, which a couple of them bring bridge, one or two being bridge players, and then you always trying to have you have a top tier player, then you have a bridge player that should be able to take over after your top player leaves, and then of course repeat the same cycle. It's just lately it hasn't been that good of a the projects haven't been going as expected. So of course
Mhm.
we had thought with Russell Westbrook being the youthful of the three that he was going to be that next player to be able to him and AD to hold down the fourth after LeBron leaves. But
Mhm.
I don't know what's up. And Russ is about ready to leave, or they're going to be ready to trade him, unless they see something better in him. Uh, we has yet to because the season isn't over yet. We don't know what might be enacted after in a couple of weeks, but it's just one of those things where I think it's a good formula, but at the end of the day, it's not working for LA right now. So you would think that would be the same thing, but it's Portland. It's a small market. You don't know too many people that might want to go there to play with Dame. They probably would rather try to pull Dame up out of there to play someone different. Uh, as we see other people who have left organizations and went on to do better things. Uh,
Hmm.
now you have a bunch of ring chasers in a sense, James Harden. But I guess when you look at it, like you want to win championships, not just
Facts.
to be considered, not just to be considered the best player of this position or all this. So you want to win championships in which his comrades and compadres are just like, okay, you want to be promoted to senior when you see all the rest of your peers getting promoted
No,
to
oh
senior. You
yeah.
like he's like, you know,
You
say I
remember
would.
that feeling, Trey? You remember that feeling when your boys that you like you been in the unit for a while, maybe a year or two,
Mm-hmm,
and you and your boys are including some women, y'all on your grind trying to make that rank. Y'all doing you doing
mm-hmm.
your what was that stuff called?
Those
What was it?
the correspondence courses.
Correspondence courses and all that. You getting it in, bro. You trying to get it in, bro. You getting it in. You putting in that long, you burning that midnight oil, bro. You trying to get it in. And then one of your boys come up and make the list, or one of your female compadres make the list, and you like, damn,
Mm-hmm. And for those that don't
that's
know
supposed to be me, man.
what a correspondence course was, a course in the
Oh
military. I
yeah,
think
tell them.
still do in the military. We
Do
had
they do still? Do
correspondence
they do
courses.
still? Do
I
they
don't know.
still do it?
I don't have to hit Master Sergeant Miller and be like, hey, bro, or
Yeah,
even I wonder who's on there, who's still active if they have the correspondence courses still. But we used to have courses in which were where you had to take. It's basically by common knowledge or whatever case like that, or basically to make sure that you have a vast knowledge of it. Of course, you had to read through a booklet. They had a Scantron sheet. You take the Scantron, you turn the Scantron in,
it
and
was a
if
whole
you
process, yo.
it's a whole process for real, and you'll get the point, and you'll get points in which those points were able to be used as promotion points. And of
Right.
course, people you had a cap on with how many correspondence courses you can accumulate to get the full amount of points. But of course, like some people, once you get promoted, if you, I mean, they help. Like I never maxed out on correspondence courses. No, you know what? They don't have them anymore because I think it's not even a part of it. So I never maxed out on correspondence courses so for me getting promoted. So of course, when that happens, you be like, man, you stop taking the courses. Some people do, which I was
Yeah.
one of those people. I stopped taking the courses. I got promoted in a different MOS, so I got promoted quickly because it didn't take many points because I was in artillery. But of
Right.
course, had I been a cook prior to being promoted, then I could assure that I would have had to max out on correspondence courses because for whatever reason the food service MS field was it was a high amount. It took a lot, almost max out 700 points to get promoted. So, but yeah, correspondence courses, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was, man. That was just so crazy back then to be up there trying to. I mean, we was on our grind too. We was on our grind trying to get them correspondence courses, especially to make E4
Mm-hmm.
and E5. You know, those were big. You know what I'm saying? To try and get those correspondence courses done and finished, so you can add points. Because if you know the point system in regards to making rank, to making E5
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like you know that those you could miss a rank by 1 point, and that could
Oh,
have been a correspondence course that you could have done
a
if
push
you
up,
had maxed them out.
a
Yeah,
couple of
or a
seconds
push
on
up,
a run.
or a second or two on the run. Yeah, a
Yeah.
second or two on the run, an extra sit up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Just simple things. So yeah, it was crazy.
So
But
AC, matter of fact, the ACCP Army
I am
Correspondence
curious
Course
on.
Program.
Yeah, I am curious on if that's still in effect. Good morning,
What's
Steve.
what's going on, Steve? Good morning, sir. Good
Steve could
morning.
tell us. Oh no, that ain't Steve.
No,
I'm thinking
yeah,
about
yeah,
somebody
he's
else.
still Steve is active still. I mean, he's retired.
Retired.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
see,
I'm thinking
yeah,
about the other
none.
guy.
I don't see none of our active people on. But hopefully, you come on. If they come on and be able to say. So, of course, yesterday, additionally, also Jamal Crawford. It's funny because we was just talking to Ron, and Ron was like, "Dang, I wish we could get Jamal Crawford because he's still out there. He's available." Jamal Crawford has called it quits as he retires at the age of 42. Of course, we know Jamal Crawford was known as a hell of the hellacious six-time six man. He was one of the first players to score 50 points after the age of 40, and he additionally played 20 years, 9 teams. Of course, we've seen a lot of his services done with Phoenix and the Los Angeles Clippers. So Jamal Crawford has called it quits. He decides to retire at the age of 42 to go on to I guess bigger and better things. I don't know if he'll be in
Mhm.
the Hall of Fame, but
Jamal Crawford? Do we got
yeah,
any championships?
no,
Mm. Mm.
yeah, it might make it kind of hard.
Yeah, just a tad bit, bro. Does he have a record or in anything that like what are his accolades? Do we know? I know you probably
That,
don't might know off the top of your head, but do you can you recall of any accolades outside of playing until he was 42?
nah, it's so he has those. Like I said, it's 3 times six man of the year. But
Okay. Yeah. Oh
besides
yeah,
that, I don't.
that
So I
ain't gonna
don't. It's
get you
not
in the
much.
hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that ain't gonna get you in the hall. That ain't definitely gonna get
It's
you in
like
the
so
hall.
you're saying you were the best man off the bench 3 times.
Yeah. Okay. That part.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, and then like I said, first player over 40 score 50 points. But yeah, those are the accolades that
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
that
The main hall accolades. The main hall accolades.
so. But of course, I'm saying in any case, it was still a good career. We if we're able to sit here and talk about it, then we all
Right.
know. Of course, he was known for the he had
He
a
made an
yo-yo.
impact. Yeah,
Yeah,
he made an impact.
he had a yo-yo cross. Of course, if you don't know, in the Pacific Northwest, his crossover tournament is well known and brings out
Oh,
some
he has
pretty
his
good
own
play.
tournament?
Yeah, the crossover pro it is a program. He has a
I've never
program
heard
called
of
the
it.
crossover. hmm It
What
used to
is
be
it for
Seattle.
youth or is it for what?
Nah, it's adult.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
So
the
it's not out
crossover.
doing the big three or nothing like that.
Oh no, he's not doing that. It's just like I said, like a program, like how some a lot of areas like there used to be a huge program here in the Louisiana area in Lake Charles before they stopped it a couple of years ago, where get people come out usually for money, but his is he turned into a whole vibe now. So I think it got stopped because of COVID. I'm not sure if it's going to come back over, but it was pretty effective. It was
That's what's up.
Steve said he didn't even know he was still active. Well, they have to cut. They have to actually put in for retirement. Until then, they're considered just free agents. So
Right.
finally declares himself retired.
That's what's up.
So last night, as we talked about the NBA, it was a 9 game slate in which
Yeah.
I was very very pleased in some of the games. Although I didn't do too well, but taking going 4-5 on the night, I still have a warm and fuzzy because of one of those four were victorious, and I was able to say, and not to even mention that someone went against the grain.
You damn right. I sure did.
Someone went against
It
the
ain't no
grain.
somebody. He talking about me. I did it. I will
I'm
continue to do it because you don't know what Lakers you gonna get. That's right. I did it. It was me. It
So of
was
course,
me.
last night the Portland Trailblazers traveled over to Detroit to take on Detroit Pistons, which as no one's seen it coming. I know I didn't. I don't think Bishop did because we didn't choose them. But of course, the Portland
Yeah.
Trailblazers led the Trailblazers led by 23 points from Brandon Williams in 25 minutes, 21 points for Ben McLemore, 17 from Drew Eubanks, where 8 were victorious, 119 to 115 over Detroit Pistons, who was led, of course, by Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey, 25 points apiece, 5 rebounds and 1 assist for Sadiq Bey, 3 and 7 for Cade Cunningham. Marvin Bagley with 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists were able to defeat the Pistons, improving to 27-44. Still not going to be get them into even the play in, but they continue to show at least that they're not completely taken, that they're still trying. The Pistons 19-53 on the year as they come about to about 8 games, 9 games left in the season as we get closer to the end of the season. Of course, additionally, the Minnesota Timberwolves battled against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas, and there was a close game, very, very, very close game. Anthony Towns, 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. 17 points from Teron Prince, 19 points from Anthony Edwards, but it just wasn't enough as they came up a little short, losing 108 to 110. Um, It wasn't Luka Doncic's 15 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 20 points from your man Spencer Dinwiddie, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 15 points from Jalen Bronson as the Mavs with the 110 score were able to best the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves now 42 and 31 as the Mavs are 44 and 28 as they were able to keep pace and stay above the Timberwolves. However, they're all at this point both considered in the playoffs with the Mavs being the fifth seed and the Minnesota being the sixth seed. But as we know, last couple of games, someone might get hot, someone might go on a losing streak. Stranger things can happen. What was not a problem is Boston continues to be a problem. In the
I'm
last
telling y'all, boy. I'm
27 games,
telling
they are
y'all.
23 and 4 in the last 27 games. Boston 132, 123, including the 45 and 28. Oklahoma City dropping to 20 and 52 at 10 games before the season. Jason Tatum 36 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 25 points from Jaylen Brown. They are a problem for real. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard 18 points apiece. Thunder, however, were paced by Shea Gillis as Alexander's 31 points, 35 points from Trey Mann, 19 points from Aleskia, Darius Baisley, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. As we said, Oklahoma has a bit of a youth movement, and you can see that there's some promise there. But at this point, they're not able to compete with certain people in the league, and that show Boston. As we said, there's a lot of people that's not competing with Boston. Some of the better teams aren't competing with Boston right now, so that's to be expected. Uh, but of course, we look forward to the rest of the season. Boston continues to play to see if they can climb the standings to get in a better position. Last night, Charlotte Hornets took on the New Orleans Pelicans in Charlotte. The Pelicans, of course, led by CJ McCollum, continues to do work. 27 points, 6 assists, 24
Came
points,
up
18
short.
rebounds, and
Damn.
five assists from Jonas Valanciunas. As like Bishop said, came up just a little short. Luke getting the L 103, 106. Uh, LaMelo Anthony and Terry Rozier both 17 points apiece, 16 points from Miles Bridges, 12 points from Montrezl Harris, 15 points from Isaiah Thomas, who has been signed for the rest of the year, as they are currently 7-2 since Isaiah Thomas has been added into their lineup. Another conversation about a player from the Pacific Northwest that
Mm-hmm.
that is making a difference. Of course, he also has a tournament as well called the Zeke Weekend, the Zeke in up in Seattle. So of course, shout out Isaiah Thomas getting that work done. Still no correct, Steve. Still no Zion. Actually, Zion is, I think he's
I
shut
think
down. Yeah, for the rest of the
huh?
year. Yeah, he's
Is
not
he
playing.
shut
He's
down
not.
for the rest of the year?
Yeah, he's shut down for the
Oh
rest of the year
shit.
too. So he won't be. We won't see him. We won't have a Zion sighting till next
Next
year.
season.
So
Yep.
yeah. So it
Oh
continues
wow.
on. In one of the top games of the night, the Miami Heat traveled to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers, in which they came up just a bit short, giving away some of that lead that they have on their number one seed. Miami now 47-25, lost to the Philadelphia Sixers. Tyrese Maxey did work. He did, yes, Ski. Philadelphia 76ers, who are now
He did.
44-27,
We need
113 to 106. Jimmy
Ron for
Butler,
this. We
Jimmy
know
Butler,
Ron.
27 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Bam Adebayo, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 points from Kyle Lowry. Tyler Hero wasn't as potent as he usually is off the bench, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. The 76ers, I repeat, without Joel Embiid,
They
they
did that thing. Yes.
28, 5 and 4 from Tyrese Maxey, 20 points from Shake Milton, 18 points from Furkan Korkmaz. I know Ron doesn't care for Tobias that much, but 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 from Tobias. George Niang, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. So it was a concerted effort. Yes, without Harden either, without neither one of them. So that
Yeah,
says something
Harden
to
didn't
me,
play either.
Bishop. That says something to me. Like you got the like
Right.
sometimes,
That
yeah,
spoke
yeah.
volume. That spoke volumes.
Sometimes you don't need all that. It's just like
Right. That
sometimes you
spoke
don't need it.
volumes.
It helps to have it, but sometimes you don't need all that. There's other people that can do work. So but that spoke volumes. The Embiid and both Harden were out, and they were able to take care of a top seed, current number one seed in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, with their players, with their top players. Hey, I don't know. Oh, Key said they needed that win.
We needed that win. Couldn't lose back to back. That's what I said, Key. That's why I picked the 76ers yesterday. I picked them even though I know they was playing the Heat, Tyler Hero, and all of them. And I figured they would get that win. I couldn't see them lose. I didn't know Ben and Harden wasn't playing though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shocking part. They won without Ben. I mean not Ben. They won without Embiid, and they won without Harden. So that says a lot. It only says it's only one. No, but Anthony, it says a little more than that because it ain't like the Heat is no slouch team. You know what I'm saying? It's not no. These ain't the Heat are in the aren't they in they ain't they in the top three?
The Heat, they're number one.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, like they not in the plan, so they beat a great caliber team with their two stars on the bench. Like that says a lot. I get it, it's only one game, but you got to keep in mind, bro. Like, how do you lose to the 76ers? I mean, I get it, they was on the road, but how do you lose to them and they two superstars is on the bench? And it wasn't a blowout. Yeah, they lost by 7, but still.
It was enough to like you said, the eye opener. Like,
Right.
okay, we can do this.
Absolutely.
If it was the beginning of the 7 game season, they have beat them. They have took away home court advantage
That part.
without their top players.
That
So
part.
it's now
That
like,
part.
okay, if we have our top players,
And as a
what can we
coach,
do?
right. And as a coach, that tells you a lot because that lets you know, hey, my team can actually pull off a win against a caliber team if I choose to rest my two stars. You know what I'm saying? As a coach, you be like, man, that means in a 7 game series, I can rest my stars and we can still make some things happen. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, especially if they end up playing the Heat in the playoffs.
And that's what it was right there. Like he said, Shake Milton and Korsmaz came up clutch with their point with their scoring. You digging? DJ still stinks. They came up huge when they was needed. Came off the bench. They replaced their two stars with some pretty good minutes from two role players. So of course that always works out for the greater good. So they were able to take care of business, like you said, loosening the
You just don't
reins a
like
little
DJ,
bit.
Hunty. You just don't.
He's our problem now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, of course, last night, additionally, the Toronto Raptors traveled to Chicago as Chicago played host, getting the W. Chicago 113-99. The Raptors were led by 22 points from Pascal Siakam, 19 points from Fred Van Fleet, and 19 points from Chris Boucher. But of course, like you said, the Chicago Bulls would ever do, they take care of the business, getting their 26 points from DeMar DeRozan, 5 rebounds and 1 assist, 26 points from Zach LaVine. He had 13 in the third quarter, 6 and 6, a double from Nikola Vucevic with 19 and 13, 2 assists, and of course, 11-point contribution from Don Sonomu. Uh, as they took care of business, Lonzo Ball wasn't back. Alex Caruso, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Um, I don't know if this puts Chicago back on the right track, but currently they are 42-29, still 11 games left in the season, 10 games left for Toronto as they get closer to the end of their season. But currently at this point, both are in the playoff or even the play-in going forth. So we'll see what happens. Uh, the Wizards and the Rockets, 18 points thrashing. 18-point thrashing by the Rockets as they took care of business on their home court. Of course, the Chris Porzingis has led the Washington Wizards with 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. Contribution 13 apiece from KCP and Corey Kispert, and 16 points from Hachimura, 8 rebounds and 2 assists to go along with that. The Houston Rockets, of course, was led by Christian Wood, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 17 points from Jalen Green, 15 points from Eric Gordon, and 11 points from Kevin Porter Jr. It's a little too late, but as the Houston Rockets continue, 18-54, the Wizards 30-41. Neither one of them have a chance of getting into the playoffs. Although I think the Wizards have a better chance of getting to a play-in, but the Rocket season is basically over. Then we get to see them go on to plan and see what they could do to build their organization a little bit better since losing James Harden 2 years ago. Who else? And lastly, of course, there's two more teams to talk about. I should flip a coin. Let's talk about the Nets and save best for last. Of course, the last night Utah traveled to Brooklyn to take on
That's
the
right, baby.
Brooklyn Nets
That's
on
right,
their
baby.
home court, which meant they were without All Star
Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving, but they didn't need him
We
as
said we
the
got
Nets
that
were able to
bad man.
KD. Now KD has passed Jerry West on the all-time scoring record with over 25,000 points. KD finished last night with 37 points, 9.9 rebounds, 2 assists, 22 points from Bruce Brown Jr., 13 points from your man Patty Mills,
Mm.
as they were able to take care of the Jazz, who were led by Donovan Mitchell's 30 points, 19 points from Jordan Clarkson, 18 points from Mike Conley Jr., but it wasn't enough as the Nets were able to get the W, 114 to 106. Next, now 38-34 as they continue to play to get out the bottom of the to get out the play-in tournament. Jazz 45-27 solidify, sit very nicely in the West in the top six, in which they don't have to worry about a tournament. Bishop, do you think there's a possibility for your Nets to get out the play-in tournament?
It is a possibility. It's definitely a
Okay.
possibility. What's bothering me is the fact that a lot of people, a lot of analysts are having a problem with this portion of it. Ben
Yes,
Simmons
the
has a
herniated
herniated
disc.
disc in his back. So a lot of people with that news, it put us at 1% in making the finals for the NBA. So the question at hand is a lot of people are asking, do we think the Nets can the Brooklyn Nets become be contenders in the playoffs and make a run for the finals without being? My question is, I feel like we can. Excuse me,
Mm-hmm,
but I feel like we have, of course, a better chance if we have been on the court.
mm-hmm.
So with this herniated disc, we spoke about it briefly yesterday about him in him returning to the lineup and stuff like that. We heard about his back problems. And I even mentioned, I made a few jokes about it yesterday. However, I came back and stated that I do know how it feels because I have that same herniated disc myself. So I know about the pain in which he's going through. And especially
Mm-hmm.
being on a basketball court, I've been there, done that. Not at his level, of course, but of course I've been there, done that. Basketball is basketball. Um, and it is very, very uncomfortable to be able to be playing with that. It affects you. It doesn't only hurt your back, but it affects your legs, your limbs, and
What up,
stuff like
Alvin?
that. Yeah, it's just what up, Alvin? What up? What up? What up? It affects a lot. So hopefully, they can get something. Gets there's so much that they do to try and fix herniated disc and things of that nature. So I'm sure that those will be some things in which they're trying to do. Um, with that being said, we'll just see. We'll have to see, and let's hope. I'm hoping then sooner. I'm hoping sooner than later that he'll be able to come back. They'll find something. Ben is not the problem. Having Kyrie at home games is the big problem. Absolutely, I totally agree with you, Anthony. Definitely, I totally feel that, Anthony. That that Ben is a problem. Not Ben. That Kyrie is. If we get Kyrie back, if we can get
Mm.
Kyrie back for home games, losing Ben won't even be as big of an issue if we get Kyrie back. Now, that's the big question: is if we can get Kyrie back. But I feel like if we can get him back as well as get Ben, that will definitely solidify us to get deeper and deeper into the playoffs and possibly making it to the final and getting that 1% up to at least 70 or 80% to making
Hmm.
it to the final. So let's hope, let's see. Like I said, I'm hoping for the best for Ben, in which hopefully they'll find some means. They have some amazing docs, sports doctors that's out there that can do amazing things for these players to get them back on the court. And for me, Trey, it's kind of surprising that it's taken this long. I feel like we know it was mental issues at first, and now we're on to the herniated disc issue. So
Uh-huh.
hopefully we can get it something done within the next week or two before this. Because when is the play-in start? Do you know, Trey? Do you have a date?
I think the 13th of April or something like that.
Oh
So it's
man,
it's like a
we got
couple.
about 2 weeks.
We're getting very
Yeah,
close.
we
It's
got
like
about
3 weeks
2 weeks.
away.
About 2 3 weeks away. So yeah, so definitely, hopefully we can get something in there. Even if we don't get Ben fully back, because even with Ben coming back, being that even if he is cleared to play and be able to join the team, the fact of the matter is that he ain't been on the court in so long. So excuse me, he hasn't been on the court so long. So just like the Clay Thompsons, the Draymond Greens, you gotta kind of like work him back in, especially with a whole new team. He hasn't even played with this team. So I would just be happy to get him in and get him a few minutes compared to no minutes at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to.
of course, and so it would be helpful. Of course, I'm very sure. Uh, I mean, they traded for him for a reason. And
Right.
got saying, and they got pretty good pieces with him. So they still have I still have Curry, I still have Drummond.
Right.
So it remains to be seen. Uh, of course, with Kyrie, I'm very sure it would be a big piece of the pie if able to get him
What do
back.
you mean, Key? 4 on 5. It still would be 4 on 5 basketball if he was there. What do you mean? You mean that to say what though?
He gets it,
He can't
pass the
just pass.
ball.
Oh, you're talking about in regards to him not being able to shoot. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, yeah. I
Well, I
mean,
think
but
he still
that's
give
the
up.
thing.
Yeah.
We don't need him for that though, Key. We've already
Hmm.
spoke about this before. Ben is not there to score points for us. He is not. He's there defensively. He's
To
there to
facilitate.
be a
Yeah.
pest. Yeah, he's not that dude. We definitely don't need him to come there and score points for us. Now that we got Seth, KD, and once Kyrie can play at home, we don't need him to put up points. We do not need him to put up points. If he can grab some boards, facilitate the floor, we could. We don't need points from him at all. In my opinion, we don't. We don't. If we get some points, it's cool. He was brought into Brooklyn to be the he was brought into Brooklyn to be the Dennis Rodman of the Brooklyn Nets. We don't need no points out of him. If he get 10, I'm happy. If he get 10 points, I'm happy. I would prefer for him to get work on I would prefer, and that's the thing. I think that's the thing about that trade is the fact that the matter is if we could just get Ben to get on the court to play some defense, you know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
don't need, all important. We don't need points from him. If he can come on in and play defense, and I'm feeling like, okay, I get it. Like I said, the herniated disc in the back, I got it. Totally understand it. Um, but he's going to want the ball in his hands because he wants to be a guard. True, true. And he can facilitate. He could do that. He could do that. But see, this is the thing. Well, I don't know. What do you think about that, Trey, in regards to her last comment?
So he's not. I mean, he's almost 6 7 foot, 6'10" point guard. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
So
of
is
course,
LeBron a guard?
no,
Because
LeBron
he
is not a
does. I
guard. He
mean, they
plays the
basically,
guard. Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah, they
but
basically the
the
same.
difference is, like you said, but for the difference is currently for him is that since he's been in the league, he's been the point guard, in which,
Right,
but of course, it's kind of hard. He's able to facilitate. It gives him the advantage over certain players. He's able to handle the ball to a degree. He is not a guard, as Key said. That I do agree with that, but he has been working as a guard for the longest time. So
right.
it's just it gives them opportunity because you can't, like we always say, you can't teach speed. Of course, you can't
You
teach
can't.
height. So 6'10", and the ability to stay in front of most players, even those that are smaller than him, that is a great asset. But like you were saying,
Very
that
huge.
herniated disc, that causes a problem when it comes to defense.
It
Um,
does, especially when you
he
like
just
what you
needs to
just
be.
said
It's funny
regarding
something that you
somebody
said.
shorter than you.
Yeah, well, funny what you said. He just needs to be the Rodman because we know at some point in Rodman's career he wasn't about points. He just strictly was defense and rebounding, and was an all right passer. So only difference is, I think Ben Simmons is a little more advanced in the offensive portion of it, so it remains to be seen. I would think that he's going to get a little better at a shot. I would think he's going to be one of those players that's just not going to improve in it at all in that aspect. So, but I'm interested to see what he's going to become or how far he's going to go in Brooklyn. Once he's, of course, playing with KD, like you talk about two all damn near 7 footers able to control the
That
ball. Like,
part, that part, that part. You know what I'm saying? That part. And I feel you. I wouldn't mind him being on me personally, Keto. I feel like he'd be a better three, in my opinion. He'll be a better three. He's 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be boasted. He's gonna be up against guys still that's a little bit shorter than him at the three position, at the small. Because like he said, like Trey said, he's 6'10. So that's normally around the threes and fours, of course. So I personally would prefer him at the three because he could still get what you said, the layups, the dunks, the rebounds, and assists with the threes, and sometimes handle the ball, which he likes to do. Because like Trey said, he's been a point guard pretty much, or a guard the entire time he's been in the league. So at a three, he can kind of still have a lot of hands on the ball. But that's just me. But I get where you're coming from. A lot of people would probably prefer Ben to be a four. And that might be even the reason why it was so hard for some. And Trey, I'm asking this to you and anybody else that's listening, Key, and anybody else. That might have been a reason why it was so hard outside of the things, of course, in which was going on with Ben. Why it
uh-huh.
might have been so hard to bring in Ben to another team because of his measurables and the position he's used to playing. You know what I'm saying? It might have been a reason why it took so long for the 76ers to try and find a landing spot for Ben.
I think it was all. I think they always had their eye on James, and I think Ben, once he started saying he was always going to uh be the choice. They probably was just looking to see what it was they can get for him, or if there was anything better they can get for him. Maybe it's something a little more youthful. Like, yes, you're
Mhm.
getting James Harden, but James Harden's a little long in the tooth, and certain things about James Harden lacking in defense. So you giving up a defensive prowess for offensive firepower when you probably already got enough offensive firepower in your arsenal already. And I think they were really looking to see if they can get something that was an equal value or can contribute on both sides of the ball as opposed to just the one side of the ball. And they just waited out, figured like we got to at least tell the NBA trade deadline to simply make things happen, and that's just what it came out to be. If they could have got a better defensive player that had less scoring ability than James, then they would have went after that as opposed to giving up being and his defensive prowess and the ability to score points um, or get to the basket for James Harden, who's not going to play too much defense. So, well, of course, last night we had one other game. The Cleveland Cavaliers hosted the Los Angeles Lakers in Cleveland as LeBron got a chance to go back home. Cleveland, this is for you. As we all remember that the Cavaliers,
Hope they
led by
booed his ass.
Darius Garland's 29 points, 2 rebounds, 17 assists, 18 points from Laurie Markkanen, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 16 points from Lamar Stevens, even Mobley, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 points from Karis LeVert. But all that, it just wasn't enough as LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers get the win 131-120, improving to 31 and 41. Cavaliers 41 and 31, as I would prefer to have the score slip, but I take what we can get. As that leaves LA with 10 games left on their season. and currently 2-1 in my prediction of they would be 7-6 as they have the hardest schedule left
You
in the
bringing up the
NBA.
old stuff again. Oh my god.
LeBron finished with a 38-point triple double, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, 20 points, 11 rebound, 11 assists from Russell Westbrook, 4 rebounds to boot, 20 points from DJ Augustine, 12 points apiece from Stanley Johnson and Malik Young Monk, as well as 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists from rookie Austin Reeves. I can rock with this, Bishop. Like I said,
I bet you could, Trey. I
I
bet
can
you
rock
could
with
rock with
this.
this.
I can rock.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure
to
you
think
can.
AD ain't even back yet, that gives me hope. Just like we was talking about how the Philadelphia 76ers were able to take care of business without their players. This gives me a
Oh
little
my,
bit of hope.
y'all had LeBron. Hold up, don't do that, Trey.
Hold up,
Don't do that.
that's what like I was about to say. Like I was about to say, we
Don't
would
do that.
hopefully LeBron wouldn't have to be as assertive with a 38-point triple double. Had AD been there, maybe they would have been able to even out the points a little more, and then maybe one or two of them have a couple of more in that aspect. So this gives us hope that LeBron doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. We're missing AD. You got to think AD is at minimal 20 points alone. 17 on a bad day. 17 points alone where we could took some of that off of LeBron. Maybe
Oh my
LeBron would have finished with
god, bro.
29 or 25 when
Man,
AD would have
y'all
had
killing me.
18. So
He's killing me. He going to all look at see this is the stuff I be talking about. Trey. He goes in all this extra stuff when it comes to his Lakers when they win in. He just takes it all to a whole new level. What I don't understand is what in the hell was what was in the hell was Kevin Love thinking? Why would you want to
yeah,
be a poster? You just invited this man to your wedding. Why would you allow him to dunk on you like that before your
because
wedding?
also the
Now
people would
he's
think, hey,
disinvited.
it's like ain't that
He's
person
uninvited to the wedding. He's
he
going to
dunk
be
on him after
uninvited now because he's in the
yeah.
poster.
And it was bad too. He's like, oh man, Kevin, oh man, I didn't want to do it to him. If he dies, he dies. That's
No,
basically
Freddie,
all it
yes, y'all
was.
can enjoy y'all win, man. Y'all played Cleveland. I really did. I even said it yesterday. I expected LeBron to show up because he went back home to play. It's not surprising whatsoever. I knew that was coming. My thing is, he gave Kevin Love all this love. Show me some love, nigga. Show me some love. He giving them all love. They dapping, giving they old hand sign, not hand sign, old hand shakes from when he was in Cleveland. And then you dunk on him like that, LeBron. You didn't even have to do that, LeBron. This man
Yes, he did.
invited you to his wedding. Why would you do that to Kevin Love? You could have laid it up. You didn't have to dunk on him. Now this man is
This
talking about
song's
uninviting you to his wedding.
dedicated to my homie in that gangster lean. That's exactly what he did. It's like you should have got the.
Forward to my homies. Take a
This a
drink and
question
we
of why
start to think.
someday we'll be hanging out.
Bruh.
This is for so it. I mean, they still homies. I'm sure at the end,
Yeah,
but that was bad. Like,
it was real bad.
and
It
he
was
was up there.
real
Like
bad.
LeBron felt that. You could tell he felt
Yes,
that because he was above the rim. Like if you
he
look at it,
was. When
he's
they
literally
paused it,
above the rim.
they paused it on the thing. His head was up there at the
Above the
rim,
rim.
bro. I
Like
was
he
like,
felt this. Like
ooh,
it was like this is gonna say it was like
yeah,
finally, yeah.
yeah. It was bad. It was bad.
It was
Kevin,
pretty
don't do
bad.
that no more. Kevin, you ain't that. You ain't about that life no more. Your blocking days, leave it alone, bro. Leave it
And
alone.
it's like he
Especially
it's
against
like
somebody.
it was like he's sitting there. It's like oh man, it's too late to bail out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He should have ran. That's what he should have did. He should have ran. Got out the way.
He said he used to
What
be
did
my
Freddie
homie.
say?
That used to be
Freddie
my
said you.
homie. Now you act like you don't know me.
Exactly, Freddie. That's how I feel like, yeah. That's how LeBron treated Kevin Love, bro. He like seriously, like, bro, stop it. Like, I totally agree with you.
He did.
But
He did.
LeBron
He
showed out. He did his thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, 38. Like I said, 38 triple
Triple
double.
double, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we'll take it. Like I said, I just hope. I mean, it. I mean, it sounds good all for regular season, but that type of stuff, like we're asking him at 38 years old to continue to produce at a high clip.
But what do you
That's
feel? How do you feel about what he said in the post game in regards to he feels as though he's playing his best game right now? He feels good, as though he got years left in the tank to play the game still.
it. Briefs will.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, all right, we on the same.
Briefs will.
All right,
Briefs
all
will.
right, all
Because you
right.
gotta think, like, even if he was to continue this, so this is why I look at, and this is the same thing in which I talk about Tom Brady as well. So even if he was to continue to play at this high level, that's gotta be draining. Because when the season's done, you go and you sit back and then you think about, like, I gotta go and potentially do this all over again next year, and it starts to become more and more to get up.
And
I don't know
unlike
about. Go ahead, yeah,
and
go ahead.
unlike football, they play how many games, Trey?
82 games for the regular
Bruh,
season.
that's a lot on the body, bro. That's a
2 to 3
lot of
games
games.
a week. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about one in the football. So yeah, it can be grueling. It can be a grueling, and not to mention you're up in the air, you're crossing, you drop, like that type of stuff takes a lot out of you. Getting off and on planes.
Mhm.
Even if you were think about sometimes a commute from your house to your workplace could be. I mean, I know Bishop, you don't know anything about that anymore, but sometimes the commute from your house to to where you got to work sometimes. Just think about when you get ready to go call your games and you got to drive through San Antonio traffic to get from your
Just to get
crib
there.
to the installation.
Yep.
It's like
And not
that.
only that, not only that, the part, excuse me, I think the hardest part for me is like myself and Trey, we played flag football for years, and all the way up until about 2 years ago, I was playing flag football. So that was like 48, 49 years old. We're playing flag football. The recovery time when you get up there in age is way longer. So we talking LeBron, 38 years old, like he said, playing 82, 84 games a season. That recovery, like they played 4 and 5 games in a week, sometimes 3, 4 games a week or whatever. Bruh, that time it takes you to recover from a full game, bruh, that takes a toll on you when you get up there in age, man. That 1 day recovery when you was 25 to a 3 day, 4 day recovery when you 38, 40,
Mhm.
it's a whole different animal, bro.
Completely
It's a
different.
whole
So
different animal.
that could be detrimental for him. So yeah, like I said, that briefs well from that aspect, but he's gonna. I'm very sure when he is gonna. Yeah, to sit up and think about it, like, okay, we just did this. I didn't have to score 30 points a game, and then to turn around and have to turn around and score that amount of game points a game is again, or hopefully come back and kind of like now as he gets older and he gets later in these seasons, I foresee we don't have NBA magic. Well, that medicine, that I mean, I can understand that, Anthony. That is true. Like we don't get that same the stuff those things that the people that hire health well the health and wellness teams that the NBA has and things like that to produce or preserve the body or to help it maybe slow down the process. That is so true. But just the mental, one thing that doesn't take care of is the mental aspect of this. And it's like at some point you realize that I think even LeBron as well as Tom, as we were stating, has that mental aspect of they can continue to do this. Although I think LeBron's a little more dialed into the fact of I'm going to have to stop this at some point. You know what I'm saying? He was able to talk and say, he was able to talk and say what he needed to do and what he needs to do to take care of it. But at the end of the day, he's going to need to start to power it down and rely on those other players to continue to move on and do what they got to do. So yes, the NBA medicine helps, but the mental part of it is what is where I think is lacking at, and where we have issues and problems at. So we continue to look forward to see. I personally continue to look forward to see him continue to do things. I just hope that Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis hopefully provide something to him, so that way he can continue on and move about and preserve that, so he can make it to be able to play with his son 2 to 3 years from now. So we definitely look forward to that, and him coming back into the fold and being able to produce high numbers at a high clip No more injuries, Anthony. AD, we need you. No more injuries. No more Mr. Glass, as they call it. So yeah, so of course tonight in the NBA we are on a 4 game clip in which is actually some pretty interesting games. There's no big blockbusters, but of course there are some with implication. Probably the bigger of the 4 games is the Bulls game as they take on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. After coming back and getting 26 points apiece from their 2 All Stars and then a double double from Vucevic to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Los Angeles Clippers will travel over to Denver to take on the Denver Nuggets. As the last time we seen the Joker, he was battling. We can count on him. We can definitely count on him. I believe in AD. We just got to get back. At one point, let's keep it a buck. At one point, Steph Curry could not stay healthy because he had bad. What we could say, he had bad ankles and was having issues. That was Steph Curry at one point, and then he went on a couple of years where he didn't have any more injuries, maybe strengthened the ankles, strengthened the lower extremities. Of course, now he's starting to have the issue again as the current injury that he has, but he was able to do it for a good amount of time. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that being the same conversation we can have in reference to Anthony Davis to keep him nice and strong and healthy for the next couple of years as we look to for those years before LeBron decides to call it quits and hang him up. So we have that, of course. We hope that he'll have that same. He needs to see whoever Steph was seeing and get out of those injuries. So of course, like I said, the Atlanta Hawks will travel to New York to the Madison Square Garden to take on the New York Knicks. Um, as we said, the Clippers will be traveling to Denver to take on the Nuggets. The last time we seen Jokic, he was having trouble with the who did they play? Who was it last time? Oh snap! The last time Jokic played was in Denver. Boston. They struggled with Boston, as Boston definitely took care of them, blew them out in Boston. So now they're at home. We'll be playing on the Clippers. Need them to take care of business. The Clippers need them to have no Clippers to make it a little bit. It's just the LA team. It's just the LA team for the most part. But yes, definitely need the Clippers to get an L. Of course, the Magic tonight will be taking on the Warriors on their home court as Orlando tried to defend their home court. When I look at this, of course, they're still without Steph, but they do have a bad man in Jordan Poole. Of course, Clay is back, so even though I said yesterday that Clay is probably an expendable player at this point, he's still while he's there, he's very potent. Wiggins, who was an all-star, is still there. So if I was to make a choice, I would give the Warriors. I would choose the Warriors over the Magic. I think Trey Young comes back and handles business in Madison Square Garden again. I take the Hawks over the Knicks. Um, the Clippers. I think Jokic comes back and take care of business as well. I like to take the Nuggets over the Clippers. Yeah.
What we doing? We picking. My bad, y'all. Just wanted to let y'all know that was the young lady y'all saw. She was the one that cooked dinner for us last night. Well, for my birthday or whatever. Real good people, man. She's a realtor here in San Antonio. Her name is
Oh,
T.
really?
Yeah, T the realtor. T gets
All
your
right.
keys. I think her slogan is T has your key. That's what it is. T has your key. Yeah, so she's a realtor here in San Antonio.
Do you know they have to write that down? Uh, and then of course, lastly, and then after I let Bishop go through, of course, the Bucks, Chicago, and
How many
Milwaukee
games tonight?
game. Four. It's only 4 games tonight.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, I'll pick that after you go through. So you got Bishop first game. Of course, you got the Warriors versus the Magic. Who you rocking with?
Oh, I'm going with the Warriors. I'm hoping. I know Steph is definitely not back yet. We know that. So I'm
Hmm.
hoping the Warriors can do it with Clay and Draymond and everyone else. Even though they are on the road, I'm still gonna take the Warriors to beat the Magic.
Uh, Hawks and the Knicks.
That's gonna be a good game. Mm. I'm gonna go with the Knicks at home.
Hmm.
Hopefully, Julius Randle and
RJ
uh,
Barrett.
RJ Barrett, the lefty twins, can hold off Ice Trey out there in New York. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Knicks. Who'd you pick in that game?
The Atlanta.
Oh, you picked Atlanta. And dude,
Hmm.
who'd you pick in the Warriors game?
The Warriors.
Okay, all right.
Uh, Denver
Oh,
Nuggets
definitely.
and the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, Jokic ain't he ain't finna take another L. Joker ain't taking another L, bro. Not at no. Yeah, Denver gonna definitely win this one at home, bro. They just
I
lost to my Nets. Yeah, they not taking an L at home. I'm taking the Denver Nuggets.
And then lastly, the Chicago Bulls versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
I already know. I
They
should
on
have.
the road. Fear the deer, baby. Fear the deer. On the road. The Bulls on the road. Even though the Bulls got to win at home yesterday, but now they got to go see the Giannis Antetokounmpo or whatever. Giannis Greek freak. Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks.
I think I second that motion as badly as I want to go with Chicago. You know what? No, I'm going with Chicago. I'm gonna go with
Oh,
Chicago.
he trying to play catch up. Y'all realize what he doing. Y'all realize
Go with
what it is.
Chicago.
He trying to play catch up, y'all.
Go with Chicago. So of
He trying to
course,
play catch up.
hopefully we continue on with the slate. Oh, hold up. Continue on with the slate. In which we LA, hopefully we get. When do we play again? Okay, LA. Oh, we play 76ers tomorrow. Let's go.
Ooh, that's a L.
Players without
That's a L.
Embiid if they want to.
That's a L. Oh,
We're
they
not
ain't finna
falling
sit
for
in
the.
B for that game. That's two
I
games.
know.
That's 2 days off. No, they ain't finna sit in B for that game. Ooh, we got Memphis tomorrow. Ooh,
Ooh,
ooh, on the
no,
road.
those.
Ooh, that means Kyrie's playing. Ooh,
That's exactly what it means. Y'all get to see Kyrie. Kyrie. Last time we see him, he dropped 60. Yeah, I think that's the last time we've seen Kyrie. He dropped 60. So that will be. But of course, we get to that sooner enough. As we go forth and move on to what most like to hear that NFL action. As we had a couple of movements yesterday, we still waiting for more dominoes to fall, evidently, which is crazy. But one thing I will say yesterday, um, Amazon is making crazy moves. As we already know, they have Kirk Herbstreit, who was due to be one of the hosts for the Thursday Night Football on Amazon. They just signed Al Michaels, so now it's Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels um, on Thursday nights on Amazon. Which is, I mean, I'm very sure it's going to be very entertaining. They said, that Michaels is getting them Joe Buck dollars to host Amazon, so Amazon making a move. As we know, Amazon and I think Apple TV are making a play to pick up the Sunday ticket. So those streaming services is making the play to get into the sports game, and they coming with a vengeance. Of course, yesterday, cornerback Trey Waynes was released by the Cincinnati Bengals. That's interesting. So they lose Trey Waynes, but they keep Eli Apple.
that is interesting. Um, um, I didn't see that coming, and I'm a bit surprised to be honest. But because of this, I feel like is the main reason why they did it. To be honest, because we know Everybody trying to make money, or trying to, you know,
Hmm. Everyone try to get their foothold, try to do something.
get them to free up some money so they can make, you know what I'm saying, so they can make some, so they can clear up some cap space for some players to be signed during the
Hmm.
draft. So yeah.
So yesterday, Pitt had their pro day. At their pro day, of course, they did the same measurements. And Bishop, wouldn't you know it? Kenny Pickett's hand has gone from 8.5 inches to 8 and 5/8 inches. It was grown.
What lead? Why are we still on this man's hands? What?
There's
Leave this
still
man hands alone,
his
bro.
hand has grown an eighth of an inch in a
In
couple of
weeks.
weeks. In a couple
Yeah,
of
in
weeks,
weeks. Come
that's
on,
pretty
dog.
interesting.
Stop.
Pretty interesting.
Leave this
So,
man hands.
I'm still trying to figure out. Does it? I mean, I could get it if it's an 8 inch hand with the ball. I don't know. Interesting. Interesting.
I just say leave that man hand alone. That's so irrelevant right now. Um,
Would
in
you?
my opinion, I mean,
But
if he
so
could throw the
what's
ball and hold the ball, let's
yeah,
just see what
he's
he
been
can
doing.
do.
Yeah, his hand hasn't been a problem up until this point. But
Right.
so I asked you, Bishop. Of course, this I mainly say this because it's a pro day. After what
Mhm.
happened to Ojoba in his pro day, do if you were in that time frame, or if you had a son or a daughter that were getting married, or a nephew, cousin, or saying someone very close to you, would you advise them to participate in their pro day? Or would you tell them to, or would you just tell them to go all out? Advise them go all out in the combine and don't go through and do the pro day, so you can preserve
Well,
that energy and wear.
you got to be invited to the combine though, Trey.
True
You
that.
can't
So in
you
that case,
can't just
yeah,
go. So if
you're
you're
right.
not
You're right.
invited,
You're right.
all you got is a pro day.
Okay. So if invited to the combine, if they was invited to the combine, are you just telling them to go all out at the combine and don't do a pro day, and or just support at the pro day, or you tell them do both, or just do the pro day, don't worry about the combine and turn down the combine.
No. So if it was my son, and of course a lot of it, I think a portion of it, it depends on what position,
Mm-hmm.
of course, because I don't see, like, you don't see too many um linemen for the most part get hurt during pro days and in in
Combine.
combines.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, 9 times out of 10, it's probably a previous injury, or it's something that a freak accident maybe that may happen on the bench press or something like that when you're trying to do your vertical and you might pull a hammy or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But for the most part, you don't see that. But when it comes to quarterback and skill position players, it's a little different. You have more of a tendency to get hurt, excuse me, during pro day or during the combine.
Mm-hmm.
But for me as a parent, yes, if it's my son and he did get the invitation to go to the combine, well, that's huge right there, because only so many players get invited to the combine anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, yeah. But I'm definitely telling him to go all out. Now, when it comes to after the combine, in regards to the school's pro day, then I'm going to look at him and say, for myself, I'm gonna ask him, like, or were you comfortable with your
Mm-hmm.
performance at the combine? And if
Mm-hmm.
you're comfortable with your performance at the combine, I would say not do a pro day. But if you're not comfortable, if you're not 100%, and I'm saying 100% confident in your combine, definitely do a pro day. Definitely do a pro day, especially if you are somebody like like I said, in a skill position player. You definitely have to give these scouts an opportunity to see your very best side, because again, we all know that is your interview. That is your interview for those people who are, that go on interviews to get jobs. That is your interview. Don't get me wrong. You're going to do, they do. I mean, what all we see is, and I wish in a way they would kind of show a bit of the mental aspect of the combine and the pro days, because they don't just do drills. They do get questions asked to them, certain scenarios, things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. There's other things that happen along with it behind the scenes that they don't never show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that they have to score a certain score for them to be considered for certain teams and so forth and so on. And I wish they would show a bit of that during the combine and pro days. But yeah, for the most part, all we see is the physical aspect of the combine and the pro day. But yeah, that would be my take for my son. I would definitely ask how does he feel, or how did he feel he did during his combine performance. And if it wasn't at 100%, then yeah, do your pro day and
Hmm.
go all out.
I think I would, like you said, when you brought, that's a good point that you brought up. Like, it's only a few people uh, get invited to the combine. Um, so of course, if that opportunity presents itself, and you can still go there and do less if you wanted to. You still don't have to do the whole thing. You can pick and choose. Okay, I'm not going to,
Right.
if I'm not going to throw, I'm not going to run, I'm not going to, those type of things. So uh that definitely, I could get down with that. I think,
So
go
let
ahead.
me ask you this, Trey.
Yes.
If your son is going to the combine, it's been invited, and we just spoke about how everyone is not invited. Do
Hmm.
you advise your son to do all the events, or do you
Yes.
advise your son to do just particular events at the pro day?
So
Just
you
like you
know what?
stated, you don't have to do all of them. You can pick and choose which ones you do. So do you advise him to do all of them, or do you advise him not to do all of them and pick and choose which ones he should do?
So I think if he, but beyond a doubt, reasonable doubt, I think I'll have him do certain ones. If
Okay.
I know, well, actually, that's kind of because I'm now going through my mind. Because you can sit up and be like, okay, we already know you're strong in this, so we know that you have a pretty good speed. So, do you want to solidify that, or do you want to show that you could probably be faster, or do you want to try
Mhm.
to go out and do
Right.
that and then come to the pro day, like, and then blow that out the water, or
Mhm.
saying putting up the reps is like, do you want to show how strong you are, or show the
Mhm.
improvement? So just on the safe side of it, I think I would tell him to just go out and use and do all of them. Do it, participate in all the events,
Right. And
and
and I
then
understand. Go ahead.
yeah. And so after that, we'll look at, like you just said, and which makes sense. After that, we'll take a look at, of course, get with your trainer, maybe a coach or two, and take a look at what we think, because most of the time in a pro day, it's kind of like more so driven by the coaches that are coming out from the teams, and the executives from the teams that come out, and they look at players and they be like, hey, I want to see this. Can I see this? Let me see you in this action. Let me see you in this scenario, especially for quarterbacks. So, like, you want to make sure you can throw certain passes. They probably might make sure you can cover certain individuals, and things of that nature. It'll be like, okay, yes, and to as you play, to put you in position. So I think I will go ahead and let them compete in the combine, and then to give it, to show what it is, or saying in the from an aspect, and then after that, because sometimes you're going to have coaches or executives and stuff come, scouts, in which they want to see certain things and be like, because you don't know what you're going to see, and
Mhm.
go from there.
Yeah, for me, I feel like this. I think I mentioned this before. When it comes down to all the events, like you stated, like if say for instance, if it's a quarterback, right? If you don't run the 40 at the combine, you have to run it at the pro day. But say
Mm,
being that you didn't run it at the excuse me, being that you didn't run it at the combine, now at the pro day, you only gonna get so many chances to run your 40. So if your
mm,
time is bad at your pro day, you don't get another opportunity. So
mm,
for me, I'm like you. I feel like you do all your events. Now, do all the events at the combine. Now, the ones you really excelled at the combine, definitely don't do them again in the pro day. If you felt you ran your fastest time and that you can't beat that fast time that you ran at the combine, don't run the 40 again in pro day. So
Just
they
leave it
can look
where
at it.
it's at. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't do that. Let it stay. Let that stay in their mind. Okay, he ran a 4.39 at pro day. I mean in the combine. Don't go back and try to outdo yourself. Don't do that. Leave it where it is. Let them think, okay, that's his top speed right there. He's good. Leave it at that. Don't do that. Now focus on the things that you didn't excel on from the combine, whether you made some bad passes. Now, being that you're going to your pro day, you throwing you to your receivers. You throwing to the guys you've been throwing to all season. So y'all timing should be on point. Should be clicking. So that if you didn't throw well at combine, definitely throw again at your pro day. So me, yeah, certain I feel like if you're invited and you make it to the combine, do all the events. Come pro day, the ones you didn't excel on, do them again. The ones you did, leave them alone. That's
Hmm.
my take.
Which I think it that can be it will work in any case. Of course, everyone, as we know, is going to be specific and going that, but I think that's the best thing because you don't want to risk injury or, like you say, you don't want to risk having a slight breakdown or a misstep, and now it's like your numbers that were done at the combine are are dismal to the ones that you do at your pro day. And so now
Right.
it brings it. Now you enter certain doubts and things of that nature, or some people chalk it up to maybe it's nerves or what case like that.
Right.
But still, at the end of the day, they're going to take a flyer on you. They will or will not go ahead and engage you one way or another. So it
Yep.
comes down to that. This is interesting enough. A couple of signings, like we said yesterday, Leonard Fournette, after going to visit New England, is back in Tampa Bay.
Huh?
3 years. Look, whatever, guy. 3
Huh?
years.
Huh?
3 year,
I
21
told you.
million. $21 million, oddly 7 million a
That's
year.
one.
That's
That's
one.
one. All we
I give it
need
to
is Gronk to come back. That's one.
That's one, of course. Additionally, um, Jameis Winston has resigned with the Saints on a 2-year deal, 28 million, as he is now expected to be the quarterback at the helm for for the New Orleans Saints, which we get to see is the Jameis in which we seen last year, or what's up. Of course,
And we'll see the 30 and 30.
yeah. Or is he 30?
The
Is
30
he
for
30
30.
and 30? Is he 30 and 30, Jameis, or is he, 5 and 2, Jameis?
Yeah.
With the clips on that, so we get to see that. He should have Michael Thomas back in the fray. He
Hmm.
potentially can or will be with or without Alvin Kamara, so maybe they
Yeah.
address that.
Yeah.
But we get to see or ultimately what it's going to be like, as that is another, I ain't gonna say domino that's fallen. We still have players out there in for where Carolina is in need of a quarterback. Houston is in need of a quarterback. Um, oh, you good, Alvin? Uh, Saints are going to be trash this year. While Gronk not doing nothing, must be partying and living his best life. Gronk probably at this point, Gronk has nothing to prove. Like, he has
He
what,
really
five Super
doesn't.
Bowls, four Super
He really
Bowls.
does. He doesn't. He could take as long as he wants. Gronk is pretty much in the same shoes, Trey, in my opinion, as Tom Brady. He could pretty much take his time, and anybody will pick him up. That's just totally how I feel. Why he hasn't said it, I honestly believe Gronk hasn't decided on retirement, because if he had, I feel like he'd already retired by now. I feel like there's no need on holding out if you really truly want to retire again. But again, I don't know why it is that it's taking so long for him to make a decision. But yeah, yeah, Winston, do you think we're gonna see the Winston of old, Trey,
I would
in New Orleans?
I would
The
like to.
boot.
I was about to say, of course, something different because we play them in San Francisco. But I would like to see the Winston of old, uh, to go through the things in which he's been through. When you look at it, through his tribulations and certain things he did in college, to get to, he was still drafted a top pick in the NFL draft. Then he goes to
Mhm.
Tampa Bay and kind of like doesn't do as well as we thought. He gets sent on his way, and then his replacement comes in the very same season and
Goes
takes
to
the
the Super
team
Bowl.
to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Uh, and now you reinvent yourself under a different coach. Uh, you
Does that
thought you
say
was going.
does that speak a lot for Jameis Winston's play, for a quarterback to come in, even though we know it's Tom Goat Brady? Does that say a lot for you to leave a team and for a whole new quarterback to come in and win a Super Bowl? Not only go to the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl right after you left. with that
It,
same well, don't mind don't now we let's not forget Tom
yeah,
did bring in
he
some
brung he brung
additions.
he brung in some
Yeah, he
additions.
did
Yeah.
bring in some additions now.
So what I would even think this, Bishop, and so first to answer your question, it's almost like DeMar DeRozan leaving Toronto, and then the same year he leaves Toronto, and they bring in Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi wins the championship.
Right.
So it puts you in a certain, I guess, certain headspace. But additionally, like we said, Tom did bring in some
No, Alvin.
weapons. Tom did bring in did bring in some weapons. So at the same token, did did Jameis have enough weapons? So if Gronk isn't there, if AB isn't there, does Tom still win that Super Bowl? Just like
Good
no
question.
different Jameis. So I think that has to be taken into consideration too. Maybe Jameis didn't have enough weapons. Like we look at that,
Yeah.
like it could be a situation where Jameis didn't have enough weapons. Tom had enough to get him over the top. You brought in potentially two Hall of Famer skilled players to put it in position to where he was able to push it over the top. So I think that comes into play as well. Um, but yeah, but I mean, ultimately, we won't really know unless he doesn't have. Well, I mean, at this point, he has some. He's trying to get some pretty good players now. Um, like you said, all we're waiting for is Grunk, and who was a part of that. They don't have the same offensive players. I mean, defensive players. They're kind of waiting on that as a lot of the defensive players that they had are still in free agents. So I'm very sure they're probably waiting to see maybe what Gronk is going to do, or see what Tom's talking about. See if Tom has any influence on bringing any other players in and going from there. But I still stand on the fact of I don't think Brady's going to be who he's been the last 2 years.
Mm. Okay.
That's
Yeah, I know
our
you stand
ongoing
by that.
debate. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's our
I know
ongoing
you
debate.
stand by that. But as you see, as y'all see, as we spoke about yesterday, this was a huge topic between me and Trey yesterday. But there goes one.
Yep,
There
he's
is
made it back.
one. Fournette has returned, so there is one.
He's back in the
So we'll
fold.
see. We'll see. Gronk is left. That's the only one left, and we'll go from there. But um, yeah. As far as Alvin, yes, we have spoken about Adams and Cooper. Not today, but we spoke about it earlier when it happened initially. So yeah. To be honest, you did miss that. But um, we probably will come back to it
Yeah,
later
it
on.
probably come back. Yeah, it probably
Come
come
back
back
up.
up.
Yeah.
Uh, I see Philly. I don't know if you want to call him a weapon or not. Philly has added another potential weapon, I guess. They signed wide receiver Zach Pascal from formerly the Indianapolis Colts. He's now
See, this is why. See, this is sickening, bro. Why are we going to people like Pascal when we got all these other people who's available? Like, why would you
so
go? This is what
so
pisses me off about.
instead of getting a baka, he got a pew
Yeah,
pew pew
you're
pew.
going to get. Not saying Pascal is trash, but you let Cooper go slide through. You letting OBJ slide through. You letting um who-
Juju and slid.
Julio is out there. You let come on, man. Come on, Adams. You let Adams get away. Like, come on, bro. Like, we gonna get Pascal? Come on, man. Come on, Philly. What are y'all doing?
Oh
This
goodness.
is dumb, bro. And I don't know why we choose to pick these short ass receivers, bro. We do that all the time. We pick these short ass receivers for what reason? Like, come on, man, trash. All these receivers, and that's who we go. Exactly, my whole point, Alvin. I just named 5 receivers that we could have got, but you go pick up Pascal. Really? Everybody else is picking up tandems of receivers who are making a difference in the league, and we go pick up Pascal. Come on, man. That's what.
Oh,
That's what.
OBJ
Ooh, that's
still
what
out
Ron
there.
was talking about yesterday. With Philly jack up these darn picks in the draft with 3 picks. Ooh, man. I'm telling you, bro, I'm gonna be so upset if we jack up these darn picks, bro. Because I see now we already heading in the wrong direction.
Okay, we're going in. He haven't had a 700 yard season.
Exactly. Like, come on, man, stop it, bro. Like Anthony said, he hadn't had a 700-yard season, but we going to pick him up for what? What could he possibly bring to the table? And some size. Exactly. We always picking these. Well, we go. That's the thing, Alvin. When it comes to Philly, man, we so stuck on speed instead of size and all of that. We just man, already the Philadelphia Eagles is already pissing me off. Golly, move. Oh, go ahead, Trey, man. I done went on a rant fooling with you.
For what we
Yeah.
know, going back to something similar to what Alvin was talking about, but not exactly Philly stuck on these speed. Is Philly stuck on speed? Y'all really think that?
Yeah, just think about all the receivers in which we picked up in the past few years. We done picked up some burners. They are really stuck on speed. They don't give a damn if you 5'1". If you can run a 4.3, you good.
If you gonna even have to be able to catch, we can hand you the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, they stuck on speed receivers, bro. They don't care about nothing. If you fast, Philly gonna look at you. Oh, he fast. Oh, he ran a 4.3. Oh yeah, let's get him. But coach, he's 4.3. I don't care. He's fast. He's fast. He's so fast. We don't need height. He's fast. He can outrun everybody, bro.
Coach,
Everybody
he
is
dropped
not.
17. He dropped 17 balls. You can't
Yeah,
teach speed.
everybody.
We can teach him
Everybody.
to catch. We can't teach speed.
Yes, like that's what they stuck on, bro. For real, they stuck on that, and I don't get it, bro. Like, come on, can we get somebody that's over 6'2", 6'3"? Please, please. Might as well put Hurts out there at wide receiver if you getting receivers shorter than him. Exactly, Alvin. Exactly. Me, somebody who can maul some people. We could have took Julio. Thank you. Juju was available. We'd have took Juju.
So
OBJ.
you got
I know OBJ ain't that tall.
technically
Hmm?
OBJ and Julio are still available. Those
But we
might
went
be,
for Pascal.
but
But we went for
Pascal was probably low hanging fruit. So at this point, they probably looking at, okay, we got this. It might work, and Pascal might be good for their scheming, which they got going on.
Man, this just stupidity, bro. Straight stupidity.
So of course, yesterday, as we seen, the ATL was able to come to terms with the Indianapolis Colts to trade Matt Ryan to Indy for a third round pick. However, it leaves Atlanta on the hook for $40 million in dead cap space, which isn't always good for building a team. But I guess if they needed to get rid of Matt Ryan, they came back and picked up Marcus Mariota, who signs 2 years, 18.7 million, um, with the Falcons. So in these two transactions, Bishop, who do you think got the better end of the stick?
Well, like this is one of the teams in which if Matty was to be moved, in which a lot of analysts felt Matty was going to go, was to
It was
the
key,
NFL. It
ideal.
just
Yeah.
yeah, it was just ideal. And to see this is not definitely not surprising. I definitely see it's a new, this is his second team. Matty's been in Atlanta ever since he got drafted. So I feel like Matty is definitely can definitely make some things happen out there. Indy, because of Carson Wentz, they was just a bit short, coming up short from making it playoffs because they lost to the Jaguars to miss the playoffs to Sunshine in them. So I'm sure it's definitely going to be an upgrade with Matty going out there. But who's to tell? Who's to say? We'll have to see because a lot of Atlanta fans didn't care for Matty. So I'm sure Atlanta fans are happy to see um Matt Ryan leave Atlanta. Will he be successful? Only that will be determined. Is it a good move for Atlanta? I'm sure that's something that they looking forward to because of the fact of Matt has been there so long, made it to a Super Bowl, thought they were about to win a Super Bowl, and they allowed the GOAT to come back and have one of the greatest comebacks ever in Super Bowl history. And so I think they've been plummeting ever since then. I think that was a huge dagger for Atlanta and Matty to allow Tom and them to come back and the New England Patriots come back like that and get that win over them in that Super Bowl. But shortly thereafter, Maddie was traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Then we had Marcus Mariota going in place of Maddie in the
Hmm.
AT is so that I did not see coming. We do know that the Atlanta Falcons was definitely in works to try and get Deshaun, and of course we all know how that panned out. Deshaun headed over to, of course, the Browns for
Cleveland.
230
Hmm.
million guaranteed. But Marcus, we haven't seen what Mariota has done. He played what, maybe a handful of games last year out there, and what?
Gadget plays and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, but this may be a new resurgence for old
Mariota.
Marcus. I feel like Marcus may still have something left in the tank to be able to play. I It's going to be a good look for Atlanta because it's he kind of fits their what's the word I'm looking for?
Their scheme,
Yeah, not their scheme, but more so their what do you call it?
their
They're
coach,
I
not
can't think of their
culture.
name right now, but they're just more. Matt is on a decline. Well, that's what a lot of people feel.
I was
Definitely in
looking at
Atlanta.
bro. Matt is a Hall of Famer, man. I like Matt is a Hall of Famer, bro. When I was looking
Mhm.
at his stuff yesterday, I was like, oh, Matt has been doing work. Like he kind of got
Yeah,
lost in
Matt
the
ain't no slouch.
yeah,
Matt
he got
definitely ain't no
lost. He
slouch.
got kind of
No.
got lost in the up and coming people. But Matt, I mean, he's no Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, but he ain't too far behind.
But will he be Ice Ice Baby in Indy?
So he has a better running game now.
Okay, facts.
He has a good defense.
Yeah,
Um,
facts.
I think what's going to show is if what they do to better because I mean they have Michael Pittman Jr. as a receiver. Um, I think it's going. They have Mo Ali Cox as a tight end. I think it's going to determine whoever because Pascal's going now from there. So I don't think T.Y. Hill is going to be coming back.
Mm,
So I just wonder what they're going to put around him the rest of their which they might be looking to pick up people in the draft, in which it might be. So I think he can if he can keep that edge that he had like a year or so ago, then
hmm.
yeah, he's probably going to be a problem in Indiana. But I
Okay,
mean, but he's also in this. His division is in the light though. It's like you
facts.
still got Mariota who's going. I mean, Mariota Tua, who's going to be under a new regime. Um, he got New England that wasn't too bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then who else is in Indianapolis? Who was that? What they're the North
Mm-hmm.
and who I think what's the name is up there too? Isn't that isn't the Buffalo Bills in that division?
Is it the Buffalo Bills or is it the uh, hold on. Let me see who all in the division. Oh shoot, my bad. Yeah. I just feel like um
Yeah. Oh, I stand corrected. It's the Bengals, the Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
oh oof,
So,
oof. Both of them, all three of them teams upgraded, except well, Trubisky went to the Steelers.
yeah. So that's like so. It's not an easy win conference. I mean league division. So it might have a few problems. They might have some problems.
Yeah,
I still
yeah, they
think
may.
Cincinnati is the team to beat in that conference in that division. I still think it's their division
In
in the AFC North.
You think so?
Yeah, I still think it's even with Deshaun. Like I don't. Deshaun has a potent running game. He has two running backs, so they have a hell of a running back by committee situation going on.
No,
But and then they
the South, the Colts are in the AFC South. They got the
no.
Texans. They got the Titans, the Texans, and the Jaguars. They in the AFC South.
What am I looking
Yeah.
at? Hold up. I'm looking at it right here. It says they're in the NFC North, AFC North.
No, because what I'm looking at in the AFC North is the Bengals, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Ravens.
Oh, so maybe I was right initially. Let me see.
Yeah, so they in the AFC South with
Oh,
the
you're correct.
Jaguars, and the
Yeah,
Texans. So
NFC
the
side.
only person they got,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so
yeah.
Tennessee.
So the
Oh,
only
so
person they
even
got to
in that,
worry about is the Texans. I mean, not the Texans, is the Titans.
the Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else they could pretty much run through.
Okay, so that changes the aspect. So yeah, well, I don't know if Jacksonville's going to do, but at this point, like you said, right now it would be Tennessee would be the only person they got to worry
Right.
about, and then we don't know what you have in Tennessee at this point. I think them and Tennessee are equal.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair to say. That's fair to say. That's fair to say. But what do you think? So what do you think about this though? What do you think about Mariota in Atlanta? Does he have a chance out there in out there in the what are they in the NFC
NFC
South?
South, yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
so they got Tampa Bay, the Saints, and the Panthers.
so right now they probably outplaying the Panthers for the most part until we see what they're bringing in for a quarterback. If we're going to have a healthy Christian McCaffrey, those are going to make a difference. So at this point, I'll put them at the bottom. However, we don't know what we're getting in. We don't know what we're getting in New Orleans until we find out if they're going to add any help at wide receiver. If Alvin Kamara is going to be at this point, Alvin Kamara is in the same boat as we see Christian McCaffrey. Is he going to be available for it to play? So the only thing that leaves is Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I would go as far as to say I would be silly to just completely, like I said, I don't think Brady's going to have the type of year he had the last 2 years. But however, I do think that he might be good enough to hold off and keep the division keep and hold down the division in Tampa Bay. But so Mariota, I think we have two sides to the coin at this point. We have a point to where we haven't seen who Mariota is because he's been on the Vegas uh, roster and
Yeah,
he hasn't had any real time.
right.
But but then you take in consideration who he was prior to what allowed Tannehill to take his position in
Right.
Tennessee. He wasn't doing what he needed to do. He was effective. He got him to the playoffs, but he couldn't win the game. So
Right.
now when you sit up and look at this, but then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you look at it like we ain't seen Mariota. So he's been around. He's been gone for a year or two, 3 years.
Yep.
Hasn't been a starter,
Hmm.
but that means he ain't been getting hit. He hasn't
Facts.
been like he's in. So he
No
could have
injury, no worry about injuries, none of
injuries.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
he could have
Right.
become a student of the game where he's
Right.
evolved and learned some things like that. So it's on both. So with that, I'm at like a stalemate, and I could say that
Mm.
I would think that, like I said, at this point there may be a second number, a two or three. Of course, they signed Patterson. They have Pitt still.
Pitts.
Um,
Yep.
they don't have Ridley because he's out for the year.
He gone. Yep.
So it depends on what I foresee. They're probably trying to do a lot of moving and shaking in the draft, and probably um, seeing what they could pick up off the free agent market after everything is said and done. So, but
Yeah.
obviously Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay is going to lock that division down as of right now.
Okay. I feel you. I totally agree with everything in which Trey is saying in regards to Marcus Mariota. He hasn't played a great deal in a while. Definitely hasn't started in a few years. He just, they had a few plays with for him out there in Las Vegas. He got on the field a few times, a handful of times, and made some plays here and there. But the good thing is, like he said, he's still young. He's still he doesn't have to worry about injuries or anything like that. So like I say, I feel like he fits their I still can't think of the word I'm looking for out in Atlanta. Their lifestyle, I guess you could say,
The culture.
their culture. That's the word I'm looking for. Their culture out there in Atlanta. I think he fits that culture for them out there in Atlanta. So I'm really I'm actually interested to see how he plans out. I don't know who their backup is for Matt was. So whoever that is I'm sure is still there. I'm sure he's still gonna have to try and win the starting position.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
it's expected that they're going to compete.
right. So depending on who it is that's out there backing up Maddie or was backing up Maddie is going to determine whether or not Mariota gets the nod for the starting position. In regards to Alvin's question, where do you see where you think Mayfield's going? So I'm gonna be honest, sitting here looking at it, bro. We all know Mayfield has already just spoken here recently that he doesn't. He pulled a who was it? Carson Wentz. He pulled a Carson Wentz saying that he doesn't want to be a backup for no one. He wants to be a starter. So with that said, let's look at the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
He can't go to Buffalo, can't go to New England, can't go to Miami, can't go to the Jets, can't go to Cincinnati, can't go to Pittsburgh, definitely can't go to Baltimore, can't go to Tennessee, definitely can't go to the Colts now. Possibly could go to Houston. Houston could be a fit for Mayfield. Will it work? Don't know. Definitely can't go to Jacksonville. Definitely can't go to Kansas City. Won't go to Las Vegas. Can't go to the Chargers. Definitely won't go to Denver because that's where we know Russell just landed. So that's one team out of the AFC. Mind you, that's the AFC South that he could go to in leaving Cleveland, that which would be the Houston Texans. Now let's move on over to the NFC. There's no one in NFC he could go to. Not the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Commanders, nor the Giants. NFC
Mm-hmm.
North, nobody. He can't go to the Packers, can't go to the Vikings, can't go to the Bears, and he definitely can't go to the Lions. NFC
I would
South just counts out the whole NFC South except for maybe
Carolina.
Carolina. He could possibly go to Carolina, which isn't a bad idea. Christian McCaffrey, he's got Christian McCaffrey behind him. If he stays in Carolina, we'll have to see. And then finally, last but not least, we got the NFC West. Definitely can't go nowhere there. Definitely won't go to the Rams. Let's put it like this. What is a trade? No, you can't trade for him in Arizona because the Browns they just got
They just picked up Deshaun.
Deshaun. So could he go to the 49ers? That could possibly happen because we still know that what's his name, the backup,
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, and we don't know. They still haven't said anything, and that's the biggest
That's
thing for
why.
the
Yeah, that's why he
49ers
wasn't. So when you
because we
look
don't
at
know
it,
what they're doing with
yeah,
Garoppolo. Garoppolo hasn't been. We don't know. We know Garoppolo has to get this shoulder surgery, so I think that's why
he had it
he's in
already.
limbo. He had it already.
Yeah, he's had it.
Okay.
He had it
So
last
right
week, I
now they're
think.
in limbo, and with Garoppolo, a lot of people think Garoppolo should go back
Hence the
to the
reason
San
why
Francisco
hence the
49ers.
reason why hence the reason why there's no market for him because everyone is fearful of what it would be. Because I mean, it's not about what he will do after the surgery. It's the simple fact that we're we're taking him and he's not going to be able to play till later in the season.
Right.
So, I would say it's a couple which I think so. Seattle, which I know you didn't get to, but I think Seattle could be potentially in play. Um,
Right. But they
I
just
think
picked up Lockett, right?
yeah, they pick
For
up Lock,
Russell.
but I mean, but yeah,
Right.
but you gotta look at Lock. You know
But
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he could play. Yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling you.
So
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying. So Seattle, I think, could potentially be in play. Detroit, I think, could be in play. They have golf, but of course, I don't know
I don't
how
think they're
much they
gonna pick.
believe in
I don't
golf.
think they'll allow Golf to. I don't think you think that would be a quarterback battle between him and Golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I would be interested in the conversation and reference because you got to think to have a lesser talent in golf to back up Deshaun, even though they've already picked up John Johnson uh,
Hmm.
to or Josh Johnson to be a backup to Deshaun already, but to pick up a golf, I think would be a little bit. That's more of an upgrade to bring
Hmm.
into Cleveland. Um, so I think Detroit could be in play. Uh, as far as where we're talking about starters,
You know
I would
what? I
New
just thought
York.
about another team.
Yes,
Could he go into a quarterback position or a quarterback battle with Marcus Mariota in Atlanta?
could. And then now
That's another team I just thought about.
Marcus Mariota becomes the backup if he wins out. Um,
Hmm.
New York might be a spot.
The Giant? You
Uh,
think so? The
yeah,
Giants?
even though I'm kind of like feeling Danny Dimes, but
Yeah.
I think they feel like this is he hasn't been effective, and if they could bring in someone else, that'd be helpful, or will
Mhm.
help to make it a competition. But of course, if one loses, then you have the other one that's on your roster for as a backup. And then I would be willing to say even though they picked them up, the Jets. Yeah, the Jets.
You think the Jets will see, but they 2 years with that um the 2 years with
But if he can come in and
the
compete and
rookie?
outplay him,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but if they can come in and outplay him because he's a rookie, just like you said, he's a rookie that
Yeah.
didn't do too well last year.
Right.
So you would have that, and then I think that's where it stops at. Cincinnati, like you
Yeah.
said,
It ain't
no.
many. It's a
Baltimore,
handful.
yeah.
It's a
Cleveland,
handful.
yeah. So it's very dismal right now at this
Yeah.
point, and I think, like I said, I think San Francisco's going to end up keeping, having to end up keeping Garoppolo, so they're going to have to eat that money,
Mm.
or they can release him and
I was
still
about to say, what about a
say
release of him? Yeah.
they can release
Yeah.
him and say something, but now you just basically put him on market. You like so at this point, I'd rather keep him because he can still trade him after the fact. Like Trey Lance, like at this point, Jimmy Garoppolo can be the backup, and Trey
Mhm.
Lance, and so hold him for the years, 26 million, true enough, but you can hold him for the year while he's doing it. And then if Trey Lance isn't doing the best, then you still have Garoppolo to be in the system, to be in the fold at the end of it. So
Mhm.
I think San Francisco ends up keeping Garoppolo, and he plays his last season. He becomes a free agent next year, and
Mm.
we see what Trey Lance is at. We have Garoppolo to um, to cover down if need be after the fact. Of course, we still have a subfield as well that's in the fold as well, and he's been
Right.
there for a while, so not
Right.
ideal,
Suffield. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but I
Yeah.
guess it works if they kept him. I guess they signed him for a reason.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so you have that. Additionally, when we look at it, the wide receiver Jamison Crowder, who's led the Jets over the last 3 years in receiving, is now a Buffalo Bill as he signed a 1 year deal, as well as Duke Johnson signed a 1 year deal with the Buffalo Bills after J.D. Kissick decided to uh, do a about face and go back to Washington. So now you have James Crowder and Duke Johnson in the fold with Buffalo after they let, like I said, they lost J.D. Kissick and they let go Cole Beasley, so which might be an upgrade. I think they don't have I forgot the other receiver that was there that they had that was around for a 1 year deal. Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, is still a Cowboy. He decided to stay,
Mhm.
or they can release him, so he's still there. Um, yeah, so we have that. So I asked currently 40 of the 101 top free agents are still out there. Even the number one free agent that the NFL.com had ranked was Terran offensive tackle Terran Armstead as the number one overall free agent. He's still currently out there as he continues to do his visits to see who's going to pick him up. OJ Odell Beckham is still available. And Dominic Sue still available.
Yep.
Melvin Gordon still available. So it's some pieces for the most part that are still out there. Bishop, I asked you. Well, no, I'm not going to do that one. But you do know that Mel Kiper's latest draft mock
Is out.
draft came out this morning.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
3.0 one.
yeah. So of course I have it right here in front of me as we
Do
getting
you
close
got
to
it? Oh,
starting.
okay. I was looking
Yeah.
for it.
So yes, I have it. So Jacksonville, he's Aiden Hutchinson is expected to be drafted number one defensive end from Michigan.
This
Detroit,
is Mel Kiper's, right?
yeah, Mel Kiper, Mel
Hold
Kipers.
on 1 second, Trey, before you keep continuing real quick. I know we
Yes,
gotta
sir.
get on. Okay. So he has who?
Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end, Michigan, going to Jacksonville.
Okay, Todd McShay's mock three. His came out as well, and he has Hayden Hutchinson going to the Jags.
Okay,
All right,
number
go.
two, Detroit Lions, Kyle Hamden, safety from Notre Dame.
Same for Todd McShay.
Okay, number three, Ikem Ikwanu, offensive tackle, North Carolina State to Texans.
Yep, same.
The New York Jets, Drake London, wide receiver, USC.
Try that's where it changes. So Todd
Oh,
McShay for the Jets for their fourth pick in the NFL draft, they have Evan Neal, offensive tackle, Alabama.
interestingly enough, that's who his number five is. to New York. To
To
New
the
York.
Giants.
hmm
So who did Mel have the Jets getting?
Drake London, wide receiver, USC.
Okay. Okay, and so it's okay. So for five for the Giants, he has Trayvon Walker, defensive tackle from Georgia, going to the Giants at the fifth pick.
That's Mel Kiper's number 6 for
Oh
Carolina. Trayvon
wow.
Walker, defensive end for Georgia.
Oh well, Todd McShay's number six pick for the Panthers is Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State.
Okay. Uh, mm. So number 7, the New York Giants via the Chicago Bulls are expected. He has them getting Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive end, Oregon. So now Thibodeau has dropped from out the top
Mm,
3 to a top 7.
See, the Giants at number seven has Garrett Wilson, wide receiver at Ohio State.
That's Kuiper's number 8 pick for Atlanta is Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State.
McShay's is number eight. The Falcons pick Drake London, wide receiver, USC. Ooh,
That
with
might
USC,
not. That might
I'm
not.
thinking the same thing,
Yeah,
especially now that Mariota or Mayfield
yeah,
may could possibly go there with the
yeah. And then with the potential for Ridley coming back, if Drake
yeah,
London continues like what he was doing, that might not. That might work.
yeah.
Um, Number 9, Seattle Seahawks via Denver are expected to, or is predicted by Kuiper to pick up Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State.
Ooh, so Cross went in the sixth pick for McShay to the Panthers, whereas Thibodeau is number nine for the Seahawks from
Why is
defensive.
Thibodeau taking such a huge drop? I
Yeah,
wonder.
yeah, Thibodeau. Something happened with Thibodeau, either in the combine because
I
Thibodeau
think
was
it
in
was
the
a
top
combine.
three at first. He was
hmm
at the top three at first. So something went on with Thibodeau. Either they didn't like his showing at the combine, and I don't know if has he had his pro day yet. I don't think
No,
Thibodeau had it.
I was about to say that because the some of the what's out there is basically saying that Thibodeau is going to be a better player over the course of time than Hutchinson. So I mean, of course, we live remains to
Mm,
be seen. But he's dropped, like you said, he's taken a huge drop. So Kuiper's number 10 is the New York Jets via Seattle. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati.
same for Mike Shea.
The Washington Commanders number 11 pick is Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU.
Ooh. The Commanders for 11th pick in the NFL draft, they have Devin Lloyd, inside linebacker for Utah.
Mm. Okay, for number 12, the Minnesota Vikings are expected, or his prediction is the Trent McDuffie, quarterback from Washington.
What?
hmm
Even after Trent McDuffie, the quarterback.
Corner,
Oh, corner. Okay,
corner.
okay. I thought you said corner. All right, the Vikings has Jermaine for McShay. The Vikings at the 12th pick has Jermaine Johnson in the second defensive end, Florida State.
Mm. And then number 13, Houston Texans via the Cleveland trade, Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, Georgia.
They have Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Oh, different tackle. All right. Number 14, Tyler Linderbaugh, center, Iowa. Baltimore
Wow,
Ravens.
that's crazy. The Ravens at the 14th pick, they have Trevor Penning, offensive tackle, Northern Iowa.
Mm. So they're saying that they're going to go with offensive. So your beloved Eagles, 15th via the Miami trade, Jermaine Johnson, the second defensive end, Florida State.
By Mike Shea, we still getting that boy Derek Stingley, cornerback,
Mm.
LSU. Let's go.
Number 16, Philadelphia Eagles via the Indianapolis trade, Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Nope, 16 pick for us at outside linebacker from Michigan, David Ojobo.
Still going with the Jobu after. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, number 17, Los Angeles Chargers, Trevor Penning, offensive tackle, Northern Iowa for the Chargers. Um, Number 18. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jordan Davey, I guess it is, defensive tackle for Georgia.
Jordan Davis.
Davis, yeah, Jordan Davis. I'm sorry, I said Davis. That's it for the big DT. Yeah, for Georgia.
All right. Number 18, the New Orleans Saints expected pick, Kenny Pickett, quarterback, Pitt.
So same for McShay, but was this before or after they re-signed Jameis?
So this one was before, is because was
Yeah.
this one came out this morning, so it might have been yesterday. So it might just be a little
Yeah.
off
So
by.
mine's the same thing. So yeah, so this is before Jameis re-signed with the Saints. So yeah, he has Kenny Pickett as well going to the Saints.
All right, Philadelphia Eagles, 19 pick. Kuiper has Devin Lloyd, inside linebacker, Utah.
Mm. Devin Lloyd went to the Commanders for Todd McShay. For us, we have, which I love it again, 19th pick for the Eagles, Chris Olave, Ohio State wide receiver.
Number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers, Malik Willis, quarterback, Liberty.
So, and we all know that we spoke about it earlier in the week about Mitchell Trubisky going and signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we know this is definitely after they have gotten Trubisky. The Steelers got Trubisky. That Malik is still on the board for the Steelers from Liberty, the quarterback. So, that raises some eyebrows for me.
Of course, the next, number 21, New England Patriots, Jameis Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. Uh,
I don't have the rest.
Number 22, Green Bay Packers via the Las Vegas Kenyon Green, guard, Texas A&M. Number 23, Arizona Cardinals, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia. Number 24, Tyler Smith, offensive tackle. Oh, correction, Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Smith, offensive tackle, guard, Tulsa. Number 25, Buffalo Bills, Jashawn Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State. Number 26, Tennessee Titans, Zion Johnson, guard, center on Boston College. Number 27, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Brees Hall, running back, Iowa State. Number
Mm,
28, Green Bay Packers, Traylon Burke, wide receiver, Arkansas. Number 29, Nakobe Dean, inside linebacker, Georgia, via the San Francisco trade. Number 30, Kansas City Chiefs, George Karlaftis, defensive end, Purdue. Number 31, Cincinnati Bengals, Travis Jones, defensive tackle, UConn. And lastly, the Detroit Lions trade via the Los Angeles Rams, Matt Carroll, quarterback, Ole Miss, is
okay.
Kuiper's round one.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna try to get the rest of those what is it, 12 that I don't have.
mhm.
I'm gonna get the rest of them because I got these right before we got on the air, so I got to get the other 12 to let you know what Todd McShay's mock 3.0 draft it looks like.
Mhm.
But they
So,
do have they have some similarities with
yeah.
McShay and Kuiper have some similarities, but they do have a few things that are switched around. So
So of
let's see.
course we look forward to seeing that as we get closer. We are basically 2-3 weeks from the draft as well, in which we'll be seeing that. So definitely
Yep.
look forward to that. So for now, I guess the Bishop, that's our time. I just got
Yep.
hit up by Ron. We know we got another date or for another something else on the other another show. But of course we're greatly glad and appreciate y'all coming out today, chopping it up with us. We look forward to seeing y'all again tomorrow. Y'all already know, same time, always 09 to 1100 hours. Tomorrow, be sure to tune in as we'll have another segment or spotlight to the NBA as we get closer to the NBA finals. We'll be having two individuals, a coach and player coach from the Fort Polk varsity basketball team. Of course, that's Sergeant First Class Africa, Medea Africa, and Staff Sergeant Claiborne will be joining us to talk about the NBA, their what they've been through and how they do as they're currently active duty. We'll be able to talk maybe about some correspondence courses with them as well. So please be sure to tune in to hear their story. And then, of course, as we go along throughout the week, we have more stuff to talk about, more sports, basketball. March Madness starts back up on Friday and Saturday. So be sure to tune in. Bishop, any last words, brother?
Oh no, man. I just want to say thank y'all for all those that reached out and said happy birthday to me. Thank you to all my frat brothers, my real brother, my family, all of y'all. It was heartwarming. I really thank y'all so much for that, man. And thanks to everyone that tuned into the show, or that tunes into the show every week. Freddie, Alvin, Anthony, Kim, all of y'all who do y'all thing, man, and
Key,
come on here and give us
yeah,
much love. We really appreciate it.
of course, yes, yes, and soon won't your real brother be your frat brother as well? Probably in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yep. Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's
So
do it.
of course, you know what I'm saying, be sure to check with us. Like I said, if you anyone out there, you know anyone that's in the military is into sports, we greatly look for and has something going on, which you need to talk about it, a little exposure, talk about it, get it out. Please feel free to hit us up, check us out, so we can get them on and give them our opportunity to get their message out. So without further ado, y'all can enjoy yourselves. If y'all in the lower part, the southern part, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Be safe out there. You know, the storm is coming through. If I know if you can hear it in the background, there's a lot of lightning and thundering going on here. But you know what I'm saying, be safe. God bless. At this time, show attention. Fall out.
Roll 5 million.